Welcome to Sexual Harassment Prevention Training for Volunteers of Cornell Cooperative Extension. My name is Leah Cadwallader, and I'm the Regional Human Resources Lead for the CCE Hudson Valley Shared Business Network. Recently, sexual harassment in the workplace has been in the national spotlight, creating renewed awareness about the serious and unacceptable nature of these actions and the severe consequences that follow. The purpose of this training is to set forth a common understanding about what is and what is not acceptable in the CCE environment. Harassing behavior that in any way affects the CCE environment is rightly the concern of management. After this training, all volunteers should understand how to recognize harassment as inappropriate behavior, the nature of sexual harassment, that harassment is prohibited, that all harassment should be reported, and that the CCE volunteer program coordinator on staff and executive directors have a special responsibility to report harassment. With this knowledge, all volunteers will know their rights and can feel secure that they are entitled to and can volunteer in an atmosphere of respect for all people. Will speak up to prevent and report harassment, and will understand expectations and can achieve appropriate behavior. At the end, you will be asked to sign off that you have attended this training in full and have completed all activities. The Cornell Cooperative Extension Volunteer Involvement Policy and related tools provide guidance in expected volunteer conduct with the Code of Conduct, how to report an issue with another volunteer or staff person including harassment, and specific topics to include in volunteer orientation. Contact your volunteer program coordinator on staff for a code of conduct and how to report a volunteer conflict or issue if this has not yet been shared in an orientation. New York state laws and Cornell Cooperative Extension policies have long been committed to help ensure that diversity is respected and that everyone can enjoy the privileges of a fair, safe, and productive work environment. Thank you for your continued input and support of a safe and productive environment by reporting harassing behavior, including when an individual demonstrating unwelcome behavior makes you uncomfortable or concerned. This behavior will be addressed. Any harassing behavior will be investigated. Depending on the severity of the behavior, the volunteer could be dismissed. Preventing sexual harassment is critical to our continued success. Sexual harassment is a form of sex discrimination and is unlawful under federal, state, and, where applicable, local law. This includes harassment on the basis of sex, sexual orientation, self-identified or perceived sex, gender expression, gender identity, and the status of being transgender. Sexual harassment includes unwelcome conduct which is either of a sexual nature or which is directed at an individual because of that individual's sex. Sexual harassment can occur between any individuals regardless of their sex or gender. New York law protects employees, paid or unpaid interns, and non-employees, including volunteers, independent contractors, and those employed by companies contracting to provide services in the workplace. Sexual harassment can be caused by anyone in the CCE environment, a coworker of the recipient, a supervisor or manager, and any third party, including a non-employee, volunteer, intern, vendor, building security, client, customer, or visitor. There are two main types of sexual harassment. Hostile environment sexual harassment on the basis of sex may be created by unwelcome words, intimidation, or violence, either of a sexual nature or not of a sexual nature, directed at an individual because of that individual's sex. Some examples may include displaying sexual or discriminatory publications or making comments about a person's sexuality or sexual experience. Quid pro quo sexual harassment occurs when a person in authority grants or denies better conditions or opportunities in exchange for sexual favors. Some examples may include pressure to force a sexual relationship or threatening adverse working conditions if a sexual relationship is refused. Harassment can occur whenever and wherever people are fulfilling their work or volunteer responsibilities, including in the field, at any CCE-sponsored event, trainings, conferences open to the public, and CCE gatherings. Locations off-site and off-hour activities can be considered extensions of the CCE environment. Volunteers and employees can be the target of sexual harassment through calls, texts, email, and social media. It bears repeating that harassing behavior that in any way affects the CCE environment is rightly the concern of CCE management. Sex stereotyping occurs when conduct or personality traits are considered inappropriate simply because they may not conform to other people's ideas or perceptions about how individuals of either sex should act or look. Harassment because someone is performing a job that is usually performed or was performed in the past, mostly by persons of a different sex, is sex discrimination, as is harassing a person because that person does not conform to gender stereotypes as to appropriate looks, speech, personality, or lifestyle. To help provide a safe, productive environment for you, you are encouraged to report harassment experienced to your volunteer program coordinator on staff, the association executive director, or another person designated by your county association to receive reports so action can be taken. Alternatively, you may contact the CCE Equal Opportunity Officer in Extension Administration or Cornell University as listed here. You can also get this contact information from your volunteer program coordinator on staff or your county association designee. If you believe that you have been subjected to sexual harassment associated with your volunteer time with CCE, you are encouraged to complete the CCE Sexual Harassment Reporting Form for volunteers, available from your local association or online as listed on the slide, and submit it to your volunteer program coordinator on staff, the association executive director in person, or by mail or email. You may also make reports verbally. There is also information on this slide if you want to file a report beyond CCE. If you are not sure you want to pursue a complaint at the time of potential harassment, document the incident to ensure it stays fresh in your mind. To help support a safe and productive environment for all, anyone who witnesses or becomes aware of potential instances of sexual harassment should report it to a volunteer program coordinator on staff, the executive director, or designee. Or alternatively, you may send to the CCE Equal Opportunity Office at Cornell University. It can be uncomfortable and scary, but it is important to tell others that's not okay when you are uncomfortable about harassment happening in front of you. It is unlawful for an organization to retaliate against you for reporting suspected sexual harassment or assisting in any investigation. Workplace harassment can be based on other things and is not just about gender or inappropriate sexual behavior. Any harassment or discrimination based on protected characteristics is prohibited in the workplace and may lead to disciplinary action against the perpetrator. Protected characteristics include age, race, creed, color, national origin, military status, disability, marital status, domestic violence victim status, and criminal history. Much of the information presented in this training applies to all types of harassment. With this training, all volunteers should now understand how to recognize harassment as inappropriate behavior, the nature of sexual harassment, that harassment is prohibited, that all harassment should be reported, and that the CCE Volunteer Program Coordinator on staff and executive directors have a special responsibility to report harassment. With this knowledge, all volunteers know their rights and can feel secure that they are entitled to and can volunteer in an atmosphere of respect for all people. They should speak up to prevent and report harassment and understand expectations and can achieve appropriate behavior. For additional information, visit the following website. Please select Yes if you have attended this training in full and have successfully completed all activities. If you select No, you will be advised to review all materials to complete the training. Thank you.